What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Blessed Vet. Glad to see y'all here tonight on a Friday night as we get ready to watch number 1 Indiana against number 5 Oregon in what is another rematch in the playoffs. It's going to be a great game. I have Oregon winning 28-24 and getting some revenge and ending Indiana's dream season. All right, y'all. I'm back. We're ready to go. We got the teams coming out. So, y'all let me know in the comments what's your score prediction for tonight's game. I got Oregon getting revenge from the regular season where it was a tight game going to the fourth quarter and Indiana was able to pull away in Eugene and get a big win at that time. But like we've seen in the other games between OU, Alabama, we saw Ole Miss, Georgia, we saw each team get revenge. So I think we see it for a third time tonight, with Oregon getting revenge on Indiana tonight. But I got my prediction scores 28-24. I think we'll see a lot of fireworks, kind of like last night's game. And I believe that it's going to come down to fourth quarter, last possession. Whoever has the ball last, that's what we're going to see. But hopefully we see the Oregon Ducks victorious and find themselves in Miami for a chance to win a national title against the Miami Hurricanes next Monday night. Man, y'all, just looking at the crowd, I see a lot of red. I see a lot of Indiana. I didn't see very much green. I don't know what the percentage would be, but looks like a lot more Indiana fans are there than Oregon for sure. But, I mean, Oregon having to go across country down to Atlanta. So that's a long fight and a long flight and one heck of a drive. But I'm excited and waiting for this game. For y'all in here that saw my video after Indiana just beat down and embarrassed Alabama in the SEC, I had a lot of Indiana fans in my comments, boy, let me know that I was naive. How did I not see that coming? That they saw it coming a mile away with that beatdown. That this is Indiana's year. I'm just an idiot moron living in the past here in the SEC country. So I really hope that we see the Oregon Ducks win this. Now, if I had to put money down on this game, I would pick Indiana. But I think it's going to be a lot like last night's game. It's going to come down to whoever has the ball last. It's going to be a one-possession game. It can come down to a field goal, or like last night, where they have to, have to score a touchdown to win, and one of these teams get it done. So that's what I'm hoping to see. I feel like if you're a college football fan, that's all we ask for. Can we get a great game down to the fourth quarter, down to the last drive, kind of like last night? I mean, if we can just get that, I mean, that's all we can ask for, right? Don't care who you root for, who your team is, whatever it may be. That's all we can ask for. I really hope we don't get some kind of blowout and it's just a boring game, and hopefully we don't see that in this game or next Monday night, with the winner of this taking on the Miami Hurricanes, who actually get to play in their home stadium. Well, it's not really on campus, but where they play there at the Hard Rock Stadium. But man, if you're Miami, you're one of the last teams to come in. You were out of the playoffs, up until the last week, because they kept Notre Dame ahead the whole time. And then they found themselves going from being the last team in to finding a spot in the national title game as a 10 seed. So what a run for the Hurricanes, looking to make history. And then I'm not sure if y'all are aware of this, but out of the 4 teams in the semis, Miami is the only one to ever even win a title. So, could it be that we're going to see Indiana, Oregon, get there and win their first title ever in program history? So either way, it's going to be exciting as we see Indiana coming out to the field. They got a lot of fans compared to Oregon. Looks very, very heavily for the Indiana Hoosiers. But as we wait, y'all let me know in the comments. What do y'all think? What's your score prediction? What do you see happening? Which of these teams um, would be a better matchup for the Hurricanes next Monday night? Or do you feel like it doesn't really matter and whoever wins, it's going to be a great game regardless? Y'all let me know in the comments. And if you're new here, uh, if you're a fan of college football, if you're a military vet like me, um, if you're a fan of Oklahoma, as you can see, I got my helmet back over here. Um, or if you're just a fan of sports, I like doing a lot of college football content, Oklahoma. Um, from time to time, I will do some military stuff and show love to the veterans, as I know what it took and all the sacrifices that we've made to keep our country great. So I do like to show love to our military family. And then if you're in here and you're a fan of Oklahoma, I will be transitioning from, college football it's winding down. I do talk a little bit about recruiting, transfer portal, new hires. Like Oklahoma just got the new tight ends coach, soon to be Hall of Famer Jason Witten, who played for the Dallas Cowboys for a long time and played his college ball at Tennessee. So if you're a OU fan, it's exciting times. Your season, this 25 season, didn't end how you wanted it to, um, but where we were the previous couple years, we're definitely headed in the right track. Recruiting's better. I feel like BV and Nagy, they've made our coaching staff a lot better moving forward. So it's going to help recruiting. It's just going to help all around. So I'm excited to see the direction of Oklahoma and where they're headed, especially into next year. But can't get to next year until we get this game completed and then the national title game. Here comes the Oregon Ducks wearing one of their 50 different uniform combinations. I would like to know exactly how many. I wonder what the number is on how many different uniform combinations do they have coming out in the white and greens. I like it. Man, could Dan Lanning in just a couple years, kind of like Kirk Cignetti there at Indiana, could he find himself in just a few years winning a national title for his program? I mean, even Cristobal at Miami, like he hadn't been there a long time. He's only been there, what, 3, maybe 4 years? So it ain't like any of these coaches left have been there a long time. And of course, Pete Golding last night at Ole Miss. I mean, that was only his second game officially after, Kiffin and all that mess. So, no, it would have been Pete Golding's third game. But, so all these coaches, they haven't been at their school a long time. So, a lot of quick turnarounds, especially for Indiana, Miami. It's amazing what they've done in the last couple of years for sure. Man, you guys know that atmosphere is electric. See who gets the ball here first. Hope y'all having a great Friday night. I appreciate y'all being here. If you're new here, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button below. As I will do, I'll be doing tonight's game, and then I will live stream next Monday night for the national title game. But in between that, I'll probably do a few videos just talking about the matchup, kind of what I think is going to happen in the national title game. If there's any, exciting recruiting portal news for Oklahoma, I will talk about that. All right, so Indiana won the toss, and they're going to let Oregon have it first. Smart. It's definitely what I would do. I would definitely want the ball to start the second half. So we'll see what the Oregon Ducks have on offense first and see how this goes. Y'all let me know in the comments, what's your score prediction? I have Oregon winning 28-24. getting a little bit of revenge, like we've seen in a couple of the playoff games. But no matter what, I hope we did great. I hope we get a great game like last night. No, I don't want to see a blowout. Don't want to see anything like that. Hopefully we get a 4-quarter like last night, down to the last drive, last couple of seconds. Man, if y'all didn't see last night's game, man, what a classic. What a instant classic. Came down to a Hail Mary. Ole Miss fans wanted a pass interference. I thought it was pass interference, but as fans, we see holding pass interference a lot, but it wasn't called, and Miami did advance. So I hope we get a game like that tonight. All right. Indiana has kicked it off. Oregon's actually going to run it back. Ooh. Only gets out to about the 15. Great tackle by Indiana right there. Yeah, look at that crowd. It is all red. I would like to know what they think the split is with the fan bases. Man, if you didn't know any better, you'd think that it was a home game for Indiana. Holy cow. Dante Moore, he's going to be a future top 10 pick next year in the first round. There in the NFL draft. Him and Mendoza both. Just waiting as we have an Indiana player down. Hopefully he's not hurt. That's one thing. I don't care who you root for, whatever it may be. You don't ever want to see injuries, especially at this time of the season. Guys that are going to the NFL, to be drafted, you just don't want to see any kind of injuries. So hopefully we don't see any injuries at all, and it's a clean game. All right, here we go. See what this Oregon offense and Dante Moore can do. I know earlier in the year in the second half, Oregon had a lot of injuries to some of their star receivers. They're healthy. So is that going to make a big difference? Let's see if it makes a big difference in this game against this Indiana defense. Dante Moore in the shotgun, first down. Quick pass. Wow. Wow. One play, pick six, just like that. Incredible. Man, is Indiana just destined? This is, nobody saw that coming. First play, pick six. That's crazy. Wow. Crazy. But that was a horrible pass. I don't know how Dante Moore didn't see the Indiana defender right there. It wasn't a smart play, but that Indiana defense showing up on the first play of the game. That's crazy. Wow. Crazy. Didn't see this coming at all. But Indiana's been dominant for most of the year. Yeah, that's just you can't throw that pass. I don't know what Dante Moore was seeing right there. Defender just cut right in front of that pass. Too easy. Too easy if you're the Indiana defense. So we'll see if Dante Moore can have a short memory and come back and respond to this. right, let me change the ticker at the bottom of the screen real quick. Didn't think I'd have to change the score that quick. You know what I mean? Holy cow. All right, here we go. This time it's going to be a touchback. The Oregon Ducks are going to start at their own 25. The Indiana crowd's pumped up. They're loud. Man, if you didn't know any better, you would think that it was a home game for Indiana. It's crazy. All right, here we go. See if the Ducks can't respond here. Toss to the running back on first down. About 3 yards. Second down and 6. Hand off to the running back to the outside. It's going to get a first down. Good run. Yeah, way to respond right there, because if for some reason the Ducks would have went 3 and out, man, talk about a nightmare start if you're the Oregon Ducks. So can they go down the field? Can they score right here and just quiet that Hoosier crowd a little bit? Ducks out to the 34. Dante Moore looking to throw. Screen. First down, about 12-yard pass. There you go. You guys let me know in the comments below. What do you think to this start? And what do you think what's your score prediction? What are y'all thinking? As I have Indiana losing 28-24 to the Ducks. Another handoff to the running back. First down and 10, gets a couple. Second and 7, Dante Moore looking back to throw. Receiver had it in his hands, and you got to catch that. You got to catch that. Good throw. Just drops the catch. Would have been a gain of about 15, 20 yards. All right, so with that drop, Oregon find themselves in a 3rd and 7. You see the Indiana crowd getting loud. Ducks out to about the 49, so Dante Moore back. Pressure by Indiana. Pass up the middle, gets the first down. Extend the drive, first down. Yeah, I feel like if you're Oregon, after that first pick six, you got to put points on the board. I don't feel like Oregon can afford to punt the ball right here. Can't do it. So the Ducks into Hoosier territory. about the 40-yard line. 1st and 10, 11 and a half to go in the first quarter. Another handoff. Met when he got the ball, maybe got a couple. About 2nd and 8 for the Oregon Ducks. Got 2nd and 7 here. Can the Ducks keep moving the ball and at least try to get in field goal range? If not, punch it into the end zone. Hand off to the running back up the middle. About 5 yards. Going to be 3rd and short here. Third and 3 for the Ducks. Dante Moore back looking to throw. Here comes the pressure. Pass complete. About a 5-yard gain. Just enough to move the sticks. Gets just enough right there. On this drive, Dante Moore, 3 for 4, 26 yards. Dante Moore with the run himself for about 6 yards. As the Ducks are getting ever so closer to that red zone. At least getting into field goal range for sure. Second and 4 for the Ducks. Here comes the Indiana pressure. Dante Moore rollout. Another pass. Gets another first down. So we're moving the ball. It's good to see. Got to quiet the Indiana crowd down. And if you just turn on the game late and didn't see the first few minutes of the game, first play of scrimmage in the game, Dante Moore throws a horrible pass. The defender for Indiana cuts in front of the receiver, pick 6. So we've yet to see the Indiana offense on the field. But it looks like Oregon's responding here, having a good drive, here and into the red zone. But can they punch it in? Something that Ole Miss got close to multiple times last night, and they just could not finish the deal. And it cost them. I don't remember if it was late in the third or sometime in the fourth quarter. It was fourth quarter. They got down to like the 3-yard line and just couldn't punch it in. I mean, 3 yards away, that would have made a difference. Game could have went to overtime at that point, so they had to miss field goal. So that's also something that we saw last night in some of the other previous games. What is special teams kickers? Are we going to see how good are the special teams going to be for both sides? Because we've seen that play a big role in a lot of the games here in the playoffs this year. So the kicker's going to make their kicks. Is the punter going to make good punts? Is it going to be clean football? For y'all here in the comments, let me know what's your score prediction for this game? What do y'all see happening here? If y'all are new here, I appreciate y'all being here on a Friday night, as we're going to see the winner of this go next Monday to face the Miami Hurricanes for a national title. Besides letting me know the score prediction, let me know where you guys are watching from. For y'all that don't know, I'm here in the St. Louis area from Oklahoma. Big Sooners fan. But y'all let me know where you're watching from tonight and what's your score prediction for this game. We've yet to see the Indiana offense on the field. If you're just now tuning in, first play of scrimmage in the game, Dante Moore throws a pick. The Indiana defender jumps in front of him, pick six. And just like that, 7-0 Indiana. So I'm excited to see the Indiana offense whenever they come out against this Oregon defense. How's that going to look? Are they as sharp as they were against Alabama about 10 days ago? Yeah, so first drive, pick six on the first play. This drive here, 11 plays, 58 yards. Oregon's calmed down. Having a good response right here to that pick six. Oregon on the 18-yard line looking to punch it in and tie the game. Hand off to the running back. Nothing doing there. Second down. Second and 12, Dante Moore looking to throw. Over the head, out of bounds, incomplete. Third and long. Can Oregon find a way to get a first down? Or are they going to have to settle for a field goal? But you would assume they're going to be able to at least put up some points right here. But nothing's ever guaranteed in this game, right? Can never assume anything. Nothing is ever guaranteed in this game. That's what makes it great. College football is the greatest sport in the world because you just never know. Dante Moore to throw. Touchdown. What a response. Great throw. Touchdown, Oregon Ducks. What a response. There we go. Let me change the ticker at the bottom real quick. What a response by the Oregon Ducks. All right, there we go. Great play, great catch, great throw. What a response by the Oregon Ducks. They had to put points on the board after that pick six, and that started to the game. There is no way Oregon could afford to go down and punt the ball right back to Indiana. That would have been a nightmare scenario for the Ducks. But they found a way. So For any veterans in here, salute. I appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all being here. I appreciate everybody being here tonight on a Friday night as we're watching the last semifinal game of this year's college football playoffs. Let me know in the chat who's your favorite team. Who do y'all root for? Where are you guys watching from? I always like to meet different people from different fan bases and just talk college football. Who do y'all want to see go up against Miami next Monday night? I'm rooting for the Oregon Ducks to get this victory and end the dream season of Indiana, but it's going to be tough. Indiana's looked dominant. They've looked great ever since that Oregon game. They had one scare against Penn State, I want to say early November, but I mean, other than that, nobody thought they were going to be able to go in and beat Ohio State. They're in the Big Ten championship. I mean, there were some mistakes. You know, you had the missed field goal, but hey, Indiana found a way to get it done, and that's all it takes. It can be ugly, but just find a way to get the win in advance. So I know coming into the game, Indiana's about a 3-point favorite. You know, so pretty much a pick 'em, which is what we want, right? Man, y'all, I don't know what y'all think, but seeing those two Group of 5 teams in, that can never happen again. I wish the committee they would just get together, have them have their own playoffs, and let's put in the top 12 teams in college football from the Power Four. Because everybody knew there ain't no way that I mean, I can't even think of who it was now that got in. Tulane and James Madison. They had no business being in the playoffs. None. Zero. And they both got blown out. It was a waste. So I'm curious to see what changes are going to be made to the playoffs, if any, with seeding, the bracketing. Are we going to go to 16 teams? That's kind of, you know, the buzz going around that's where we're headed. Do y'all like that? Did you like it at 4? Are you a fan of the BCS? You know, would you like to go old school and go back in the future? Back to the good old days, you know? What would y'all want to do? Or do you like it where it is at 12? I don't mind 12, but if it went to 16, I wouldn't want to see it go no more than that. Because then at that point, you're going to get at teams with 4 and 5 losses in. Nobody wants to see that. So thank y'all for being here. I appreciate it. As we see Indiana on 2nd down and 9. See if they can be as sharp as they were against Alabama about a week and a half ago. Short catch for about 3 or 4 yards. Maybe up 3rd and 5. Will Indiana go 3 and out? Let's see how aggressive this Indiana offense is. I mean, because they were really, really aggressive against Bama. Are they going to, do the same thing against Oregon? Snap. Mendoza looking to throw. In coverage, great throw. I mean, great defense, great throw. Great catch. I mean, that's just great football right there. Great catch. Great throw by Mendoza. That's why he will be the top, I would think, the top pick in the draft here in a few months. Out to midfield. Hand out the ball. They get down to about the 42 of Indiana. A little over 5 minutes to go in the game. It's going to be 2nd and 6 here for Indiana. Looking to put up their first offensive points of the game. If y'all tuned in late to the game, Indiana, they got a pick 6 on the first play of the game. And we're just now seeing their offense out here on the field for the first time. Got 2nd and 11. We just had the false start penalty caught on the Hoosiers. We're going to try to run it again. Good run. It's going to be about great run, great effort. Gets a little push there by his O-line. It's going to be about 3rd and 4. A lot more manageable. I feel like the game's going pretty quick. Third and 4 for Indiana at the Oregon 40. Snap back, Mendoza looks. Pass to the outside, first down. So, I mean, just what we saw Oregon do going down the field. We saw a lot of the first downs. They would get just enough to extend the drive. And that's exactly what we saw Indiana do right here. Saw the pick there. Give that receiver a little bit of room. Another handoff by Indiana. Great run. Got about 6, almost 7 on that run. 2nd and short. Indiana now down to the Oregon 26.5, 27-yard line or so. I mean, so we had that one defensive play, first play of the game there, but, you know, since then, both offenses are going right down the field, doing what they want to do. Is that going to be the trend all night long? Or will we see some defense, more defense come into play? Another handoff. I mean, Indiana just running right down the field, right up the gut of Oregon. We saw this last night with Miami. Miami just gashed that Ole Miss defense, and this is exactly what Indiana's doing so far. They got to be averaging 4 or 5 yards a carry. So great start to the Indiana rushing offense. What a start for them. They get into the red zone, 1st and 10, Indiana. Another handoff. Running back to the outside, gets a block. Did he get in? He went out of bounds. Yeah. But great run. It's going to be another first down for Indiana. Great blocking. Look at that. Great blocking by the Indiana O-line right there. 1st and goal for the Hoosiers. Around the 5-yard line. 6. Snap, handoff again. No luck this time. Gonna lose a couple. So can the Oregon defense, can they rise up right here and hold Indiana to a field goal? I feel like the game's going pretty quick. Offense is, 75 to 72. So, yeah, rushing yards, 39 yards for Indiana. It's going to be second and goal here in the last minute of the first quarter. We got a tie game, 7-7. And does it look in? Touchdown. I mean, so far, both offenses are just going up and down the field, back and forth. I mean, good football. All offense so far. We saw that first defensive play of the game with the pick six, but man, ever since then, just both teams going up and down the field, up and down the field. Yeah. Dan Lanning, you're a defensive guy. You better make some adjustments with your Oregon defense for sure. And it's been all offense. So with 40 seconds to go in the first quarter, Indiana has retaken the lead at 14-7. Let me change the ticker real quick. Y'all let me know in the comments below what's your final score prediction. Who do y'all have winning? And where are y'all watching from tonight? I'm here in the St. Louis area, but I'm from Oklahoma. And that's my favorite team, the Sooners. Unfortunately, they had an embarrassing end to their season. Blew a 17-point lead to Alabama. It was ridiculous. Very, very frustrating. Get that changed. All right, there we go. Got that fixed. A lot more offense this game than what we saw last night in the first quarter between Miami and Ole Miss. A lot more explosive this first quarter. Lots of commercials. Got to pay the bills. Thank y'all for being here tonight. If you're new here, hit that like and subscribe button. I do college football content. I do a lot of course, Oklahoma content. And then I do being a military vet, being in the Army. I like to show love and support to our military family. So I'll do some content about that also. And I mean, we have this game left, and then we have the national title game next Monday. After this, my plan is to do some videos in between, with recruiting, transfer portal for Oklahoma. And then I'm excited to do some softball. See if Patty Gasso and the Sooners can get back on track and start another run. All right, so that drive, 11 plays, 75 yards, 6.5 minutes. Great drive there for Indiana. See if Oregon can't throw another punch here to tie the game up. .40 seconds to go. Oregon starting their drive at the 25-yard line. Hand off to the running back. Gets about 4. Good start to this drive for the Oregon Ducks. See if they run another play here. Or are we just going to go to the second quarter? All right, and that's going to be the end of the first quarter. The Indiana Hoosiers are up 14-7. Take away that pick 6, and it's just been offense up and down the field. Both teams having 75-yard touchdown drives. So we're going to see here if Oregon can't throw under the punch and tie this game up. Because beyond that first play, both defenses don't really have an answer for either offense here. So change the ticker real quick. Second quarter. Y'all let me know where you guys are watching from tonight. And who do y'all want to see win this game? Who are y'all rooting for? All right, there we go. My prediction, I have Oregon getting revenge on their regular season loss, and I have the Oregon Ducks winning 28-24. But if we're going to keep offense like this and we're going to just keep going up and down the field, I'm definitely going to be lowballing it for sure on the score. But we're going to see, here between quarters, what adjustments are made. What do they switch up with the defenses here? Or is it just going to be a track meet the whole game and it's just going to be a 56-48 game? The only thing that I ask, I just don't want to see a blowout. You know what I mean? I want to see a great game. Like last night, 4-quarter game comes down to the last drive with a chance to go to the title game. That's all I want to see. More than anything, I just want to see a great game all the way through. I'm rooting for Oregon in this game, but I just want to see a great game. I don't want to see a blowout. Nobody wants to see that. Unless you're one of these, fans of these fan bases, but I don't think we're going to do that. I don't think we're going to see the blowout by no means. Get the comments back up here. All right, here we go. Back to the game. Start of the second quarter. Oregon looking to put a drive together to tie the game at 14. Or we're going to see the Indiana defense step up and get a stop right here. Hand off to the running back for Oregon. First play of the drive. Second play of the drive. It's going to be 3rd and short, about 3rd and 2. If you're Oregon, you do not want to go 3 and out right here and give the ball back to Indiana. If Indiana goes up 2 touchdowns right here, ooh, I don't know if that's a hill that Oregon can climb. Another handoff to the running back on 3rd down. Indiana's waiting for it. It's going to be a loss. Oregon's going to have to punt. So now Oregon's going to have to find a way to get a stop and get that ball back. I mean, the D-line has got through there for the Hoosiers. Running back had nowhere to go. Nowhere to go at all. So we're going to see Oregon punt the ball right here. It's going to get the punt off. We're going to take an Oregon bounce down to the 19. So the first punt of the game there for Oregon. Can their defense step up and get a stop and get the ball back? Or are we going to see Indiana just go right back down the field? I want to thank y'all for being here. If you're new here, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. So if you're a fan of college football, no matter who your favorite team is, but if you're just a fan of sports, college football, like me, a fan of Oklahoma, I do a lot more Oklahoma content than anything. But I like covering, playoffs. I will transition to Oklahoma softball here in about a month, if that's going to get going. And then in between all that, I'll do just some videos and shorts on transfer portal, recruiting, that kind of thing. You guys let me know in the comments, what is your score prediction going to be? Who do you think is going to win it all? Do you have the Hurricanes winning this year? Or do you have the winner of this game winning it all? And the Big Ten getting 3 in a row, if one of these two teams can pull this off? Or is the ACC going from getting left out? Are they going to go from getting left out of the playoffs until the last selection show to winning a national title? What a turnaround for the ACC that would be. Because all year long, the ACC was trash. Complete garbage. It's an embarrassment. There's no way a 7-5 team should ever get into your conference championship game. So the ACC, they have a lot of stuff to fix with their tiebreakers and all their bogus rules. They got to get that fixed real quick and in a hurry. They're showing Mendoza where he got the Heisman a little over a month ago, or about a month ago. All right, Indiana with the ball. Are they going to just continue to go right down the field? Or is the Oregon defense going to be able to step up and get a stop? Hand off to the running back for nothing. It's going to be 2nd and 10 for the Hoosiers. 2nd and 10, another handoff. Only for a couple, so it's going to be 3rd and long here for the Hoosiers. Is this Oregon defense, are they going to actually step up and get a 3 and out? Will they get a pick 6 of their own? Mendoza back. Oregon bringing the pressure. Mendoza looking to run. 1st down and more. Great defensive play. They got the pressure. It was a great play call. Oregon brought pressure. Mendoza is able to use his legs and run around it. Looks a lot like Chambliss from last night. Quarterback able to use his legs, and when there's nothing, just being able to make something out of nothing. Indiana now out to the 39. Hand up again to the running back. It's going to get about 4, maybe 5. Oh, we see a flag. What's the flag going to be? Wow. Okay. Illegal block by the defense. Man, if you're Oregon, you do not want to help. You do not want to help this Indiana offense for sure. So 1 penalty so far for each team. Pretty clean game so far. 1st and 10 for Indiana at the Oregon 40. Another handoff to the running back for a couple. Going to be about 2nd and 8 for Indiana. Second and 7 now for Indiana. Mendoza looking back to pass. Pass deflected. Could have been a pick, just had nobody in the right spot. So again, we have Oregon. Your defense now. You're in a 3rd and 7. Can you get a stop? Can you get a stop and get this ball back? And now they're going to have to also account for Mendoza's legs. If the play breaks down and there's pressure, they're going to have a spy on Mendoza, or he will beat you with his legs. Pressure by Oregon on the outside. Should have been a sack. Got the ball back. What a play. Okay. I thought Mendoza might just throw it away right there, but Oregon found a way to get a stop. Pressure from the outside. Ball comes loose. Mendoza able to pick it back up. And then the Oregon defense is able to come in and get a big sack. It's going to be 4th and forever. And now they have to punt it back to the Oregon Ducks. Good punt. Oregon catches at the 7-yard line. Out to about the 14, so Ducks have a long way to go to tie this game. So in the 2nd quarter, we have 9.5 minutes to go. We have Indiana up 14-7. Great game so far. So all I want to see is just a great game all the way through. That was one thing about the quarters. A lot of blowouts. A lot of the games weren't good at all. So I'm glad, last night's game, this night's or tonight's game, they've been great so far. And hopefully we see another instant classic like we saw last night in tonight's game. Comes down to the last drive, winner take all. Everybody on their feet, everybody stressing what's going to happen. So I hope that we get a repeat from last night. Y'all let me know where you're watching from tonight. Who's your favorite team? Who do you root for? And if you're a military vet in here, thank you for your service. I appreciate you. Nothing but love and respect for all the veterans that might be in here. And if you were in the military, let me know what branch were you in. I was in the Army, but let me know in the comments if you did serve our country, what branch did you serve in? Great game so far. About 9.5 minutes to go in the first half. First play of the game, you had that pick six, a horrible pass by Dante Moore. The defender for Indiana just cuts right in front of the receiver, gets an easy pick six. But Oregon found a way to respond, tie the game up with a 75-yard drive. And then we saw Indiana go right down the field and do the exact same thing, 75-yard drive to get a touchdown. And then each team has had to punt the ball on their last possession. So can we see Oregon go down? Now they got to go 80 plus yards here on this drive, but can they go down, use up some clock, let their defense rest, and tie this game up? Dante Moore, a future first-round draft pick. And next year's draft, same with Mendoza. Oh, wow. Wow. Huge turnover by Oregon. What are we doing? Again, Dante Moore what is he doing? Just couldn't catch the snap. And now you're giving Indiana a touchdown. Oh no. Okay. Running back just hits the ball as Dante Moore is looking to throw. Indiana able to recover. So here we go into the second quarter, halfway through, and two massive, massive turnovers by Oregon. I mean, we're giving Indiana the touchdown right here, right? I mean, wow. Not a recipe for success if you're the Oregon Ducks right now. Mendoza with the toss. Gets about one. Going to be second and goal on about the 3-yard line, 2-yard line. What a mistake by Oregon. What are we doing? Yeah, if you're the defense for Oregon, you've got to be frustrated. You just got to stop. And then you get put in a horrible situation. Now, I mean, third and goal at the 1. Can Oregon get a huge, huge stop right here to hold Indiana to a field goal? Because, y'all, I know it's only halfway through the second quarter, but if Indiana scores right here and they get the ball to start the second half, I think that's just too big of a hill for Oregon to have to climb. I just don't see it. Third and goal, yeah, right up the middle, touchdown. Indiana. Mistakes. Indiana now has 14 points off of Oregon turnovers. 14 points. So far, everything just falling Indiana's way. Two huge, massive, massive turnovers. Horrible. Horrible. If you're Oregon, if they were going to have a good chance to win the game, they had to play a clean game. This is horrible. All the momentum now with Indiana, up 2 touchdowns. Another costly turnover, as we're showing the replay here by Dante Moore, giving Indiana the ball on the 4-yard line. So with 8 minutes to go in the first half, Indiana up 21-7. What a rough first half for the Oregon Ducks. Get the ticker at the bottom fixed real quick. Man, so far, y'all, we saw Indiana go down and get that one 75-yard drive. But other than that, I mean, Oregon's given Indiana 14 points. You had the pick six, and then you had this fumble on the 4-yard line. They've given Indiana 14 points. That's not something that anybody in the country wants to do, is to give this Indiana team 14 points like that and still expect to win the game. You know, I mean, so far Indiana had that one drive. I mean, but man, the way your defense is playing, getting these turnovers, they're just not having to do much at all. I mean, so now as we sit here, you know, about halfway through the first half or the second quarter, Oregon has to score right here. They got to score. They got to put some points on the board. They got to find a way. If Oregon goes and does not score and gives the ball right back to Indiana, excuse me, and Oregon scores again, and then they get the ball to start the second half, the game's going to be over, y'all. Turnovers, man, such a killer. Y'all let me know in the comments. What do y'all think of this horrible start for Oregon, giving Indiana 14 points? Oregon is already now in the second quarter, not even halfway through the second quarter, in a position where they have to score. Like, they're going to have to score points right here. They're going to have to. The game is not over by no means, but Oregon has to find a way to get points right here. They have to. It's going to be a touchback. Oregon's going to get it on the 25. Can they respond like they did from the last turnover? Can they respond and go down and put up a drive and get some points right here? Oregon has two of their big running backs out tonight. How much will that affect this Oregon offense? First play of this drive, they hand it off for nothing. Indiana has all the momentum. Defense is pumped up. I mean, they haven't had to really do much, haven't really been on the field for too long. First down, so we got a response right here. Able to get a response. First and 10 for the Ducks, trying to respond from a horrible turnover. Hand it off to the running back. Gets a good run, about 7 yards. So if you're Oregon, can you just go down the field, use up a lot of clock, and hopefully, if you're Oregon, you want to go down 21-14, knowing that Indiana is going to get the ball back to start the second half. Dante Moore looking to throw on 2nd and 3 and takes a sack. If you're Dante Moore, you got to throw it away right there. You got to throw it away. Now you put yourself in 3rd and long. You know the pressure's coming from this Indiana defense. Could have had a holding right there on the O-line for Oregon. They didn't call it. 3rd and long for the Oregon Ducks. Can they find a way to get a first down on 3rd and 12? Here comes the pressure. Dante Moore goes down again. 4th and forever for the Oregon Ducks, giving the ball back to Indiana. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on the verge of a blowout. It's unfortunate. That was the one thing I did not want to see, was a blowout in this game. So now if you're the Oregon Ducks, you got to find a way to get a turnover. Can we get a muff punt right here? Can your defense get a turnover by Mendoza? Great run back by Indiana. Gets on about the 25, gets out to almost the 40-yard line. So great field position for Indiana. Turnovers are killing Oregon. This game is on the verge of being a blowout and game being over before halftime, because Oregon's had two horrible turnovers. You had the pick six to start the game, and then you just had, where the running back hits the quarterback as he's trying to throw the ball. Ball goes on the turf, and you give Indiana first down on the 2-yard line. Of course they're going to score. So if you're Oregon, this is a nightmare scenario. You've given Indiana 14 points. If Oregon was going to win this game, they had to play a clean game. And right now, this is just a nightmare scenario. Nightmare scenario for the Ducks. I mean, so Indiana has the ball, I think, on the 40. I think so, where the guy ran out at. 5 minutes ago, they can essentially use clock, go down, put up points, go to half, and then get the ball again. I really hope this doesn't turn into a blowout. I'm hoping that somehow this comes down to a four-quarter game, a lot like last night's game, but we are on the verge of it being a blowout. Very, very similar to the Alabama game. Just mistakes, sloppy football, and you find yourself getting blown out pretty quick against this Indiana team. Indiana leads the FBS with 127 points off of turnovers, and tonight Oregon's giving them another 14. Mendoza back, looking to throw. Gets a pass for about 1 yard, or loses 1 yard. Oregon has got to find a way to get the ball back. If Indiana goes down and scores right here, this game is over. And they get the ball back to start the second half. So if you're Oregon, you got to find a way to get a turnover right here, at least get the ball back, make Indiana punt the ball back to you. I mean, great throw, great catch. They're going to call pass interference. But heck of a throw, an even better catch right there. Yeah, Indiana's just doing whatever they want. They've been able to get big runs, just gashing that D line for Oregon. And the throws by Mendoza, I mean, he is showing you why he's the Heisman. Great throw to the outside shoulder right there. Great catch by that guy. With the Oregon defender with the pass interference. I mean, that's great, great football. We go first and Tim Mendoza looking to throw. Checks it down. Gets about 7 yards. So here we go. Indiana going right down the field again. Oregon has no answer, especially on third down. I mean, Indiana is showing you why they're the number one team in the country. They're playing clean, no mistakes. They only have, I believe, one penalty on the game so far. Just playing clean football. Mendoza back looking to throw. Touchdown. This is going to be a blowout. And they get the ball to start the second half. Oregon has no answer. They have no answer against this Indiana team. So it looks like we're going to have a Indiana-Miami national title game. So if you're Miami, and I know you're watching, you are definitely learning what not to do. You cannot give Indiana 14 points and expect to win this game. A nightmare first half for the Oregon Ducks. Nightmare. From the first play with that pick six, and then another turnover right there in your own, I mean, few yards from the end zone. You give Indiana the ball back on the 2 yard line. They score again. And then this right here, I mean, great throws, great plays by Indiana. They go right down the field. And when they're not making these kind of throws and these catches, I mean, that's an incredible catch. That's a great catch by that receiver for Indiana. When they're not making these pass plays, they're gashing Oregon for almost 5 yards to carry. I mean, they are doing whatever they want against this Oregon Duck team. You know, going into the fourth quarter in the first matchup there in Eugene, it was a 20-20 ball game going to the fourth quarter. This, complete different story. Now, is the game over? No. But, man, if you're Oregon, you better find a way to put points up on the board. I mean, you're already in full down. You're already in 4 down territory. Obviously, we've seen how quick Indiana can go down the field and score on the Oregon defense. You cannot let Indiana get even more points before half. I mean, at the rate we're going to see the backups in the third quarter for Indiana. This is just like a repeat of the Bama game all over again. It's the exact same thing. Turnover, sloppy football, and it's causing you to get blown out by this Indiana team. Could Indiana be a team in destiny? Be the first team to go 16-0? Or is it going to be a story of the Miami Hurricanes being the last team to get into the playoffs and to win a national title in over 20 plus years in their home stadium there in Miami? Incredible. Look at this. Another turnover. Yeah. Well, congrats, Indiana. You're headed to the national title game. This game is over. Pressure by Indiana. Dante Moore going to throw, and the defender just knocks it out of his hands. Just like the last drive, Lyman picks up the ball, another turnover. So we have 3 turnovers, 2 in back-to-back drives. They score right here. You're going to see the backups to start the second half. Mendoza just breaking tackles. Should have been a tackle for a loss. And somehow gets 2 out of it. Well, so what do y'all think? Is this what you expected? That's what I'm going to hear from the Indiana fans. Oh, we saw this blowout coming. We tried to tell you, blah, 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 blah. No, they didn't. They're so full of crap. Did you see your team winning? Yes. But you did not see your team getting some crazy blowout win. They're so full of it. Now, they're going to say all this after the fact, of course, but that's what I'm going to hear in my comments when I do a video. I told you. So it'll be exciting to get to talk back and forth with these Indiana and Big Ten fans about how dumb and wrong I was on this Indiana team. But, Vegas had it as a 3-point game. Could be anybody's game. Nobody saw Dante Moore having 3 turnovers here in the first half. Nobody saw this. But if you're Oregon Ducks, what a nightmare first half. It can't go much worse than what it has been. And if you're Indiana, the defense is pretty much giving you 14 points, and then you put up 2 quick drives, and you're fixing to put up another one because Oregon just cannot get out of their own way. Horrible. Looks like we're going to see the backups here in the third quarter in this game, just like we saw in the Bama game. But, that was Oklahoma's thing this year was, hey, defense could carry you to a national title. And right here, the defense for Indiana, they're showing you why. They're showing you why they're the number 1 team in turnovers. They've gotten the most points in the FBS. We saw that stat earlier here in the game. And they're fixing to get another 7 because Oregon cannot get out of their own way. Cannot do it. I mean, so if you're Dan Lanning and going into halftime, I don't know what you tell your players. I'm not sure what that conversation is going to be like. And if you're Indiana, just keep doing what you're doing. Let's put in our backups and, let's not have any key guys get hurt. So we get back to the game here. A few minutes to go in the first half. Saban being a defensive guy, he's excited to see this defense that Indiana's playing, getting all these turnovers. So we got 2 minutes to go. Oregon has had another turnover, and Indiana's looking to capitalize and go up 35-7 in the second quarter. It's going to be 3rd and 3 for Indiana. So they called a timeout, up 28-7. Oregon's had 3 turnovers now in the first half. Indiana's going to at least get a field goal right here. And they get the ball to start the second half. Here we go, 3rd and 3, 154 to go in the first half. Throw out to the receiver for Indiana. Able to get enough for the first down. 1st and goal for Indiana. So, run it a few times, use up that clock. Go up big at halftime. Mendoza telling the crowd to quiet down. Got 1st and goal for Indiana. Running back runs it in right up. Oregon has given up. Oregon has given up. They're done. They're throwing in the flag, and we're not even to halftime. Not even to halftime. Dan Lanning. No answers. Quarterback's playing horrible. Your defense cannot do anything. Turnovers. What a killer. Second and goal. Hey, Oregon gets a stop. But we saw this on the last turnover in the last drive. Oregon was able to get to 3rd and goal, and then Indiana was able just to punt it right in. So what does Indiana do right here? Oregon calling the timeout. Down 21 points. Going to be down at least 24. Dan Lanning just looking to get anything positive before halftime. Well, what do y'all think? Y'all let me know in the comments. How many of y'all saw this game being over at halftime? Did you see Oregon having 3 turnovers? I didn't. But Indiana's going to punch it in right here and be up 35-7, and they get the ball first to start the second half. Touchdown. Ball game, ladies and gentlemen. 35-7, and we're still in the second quarter. Oregon's had 3 turnovers, massive turnovers. You've given Indiana 21 points. And if Oregon had a chance to win this game, they had to play mistake-free football. They could have 0 turnovers. And they already have 3. In the game. And Indiana has capitalized every time. So if you're an Indiana fan, congratulations. Your team is headed to the national title game to face the Miami Hurricanes. They're in Miami next Monday. If you're Oregon, welcome to the crowd. Season is over. Looks like the receiver was down, going to be short. Does it really matter? No, it doesn't. Ooh. But where was the ball? Did it? Let's see. He's up. Right there. Where's the ball? Did it cross? You can't tell. It's hard to see. That's going to be tough to yeah, with the ruling on the field being a touchdown, that's going to be tough to overturn. Yeah, not enough to overturn it. How many of y'all saw 35-7 in the second quarter? I didn't. And these Indiana fans didn't see it either. Now, I'm going to do a video here pretty soon talking about this nightmare and blowout here in the first half. And I'm going to get comments from the Indiana fans saying how they saw this coming and they're so full of crap. But they're going to let me hear it, though. I told you. We knew this was coming. That's the BS I'm going to hear from these Indiana fans. So just so y'all know, I will be a Hurricane fan. I will be rooting for Miami in the title game. Going into it, I really didn't care. Of course, I wanted, I wanted OU to win and get a title. But I wanted to see the SEC do well. And, of course, last night that came to an end in that instant classic between Ole Miss and Miami. But, man, just hearing it from these Indiana fans especially, and I get it, that's part of being a fan, right? We're fanatics. We like to talk crap to each other. Talk about how great your team is. Talk about how bad, every other team is. Can Oregon get anything? Can they get anything before halftime? Can Oregon get out of their own way and get some kind of positivity going into halftime? This game is over. I mean, Indiana's just coasting. The offense was given 7 points the first play of the game with the pick 6 by their defense. They started another drive on the 2-yard line. Easy. Oregon's had 2 turnovers in back-to-back drives. And Indiana has capitalized on everything, and they played a clean game. Pressure again, Dante Moore trying to find anything out of bounds. So if you're a college football fan, I don't care who you root for, who your favorite team is, whatever it may be. We just wanted to see a good game. Nobody wants to see a blowout. I don't want to see a blowout here. I don't want to see a blowout next Monday. I want to see a good 4-quarter game, but that is not what we're getting. Dante Moore looking to throw. Completes the pass for a first down for about 13 yards, 45 seconds. They have no timeouts. Can they maybe get into even field goal range? Maybe. We'll see. 45 seconds. Snap. Moore looking to throw. Nobody open. Here comes pressure from Indiana. Going to have holding on Oregon. Obvious right there in front of the ref. Another mistake by Oregon. Oregon cannot get out of their own way. Mistake after mistake after mistake. Congrats to the Hoosier fans. I mean, 3 years ago, your team was the laughing stock of the Big Ten, who's very top-heavy. And your coaches came out of nowhere from a smaller division. I can't remember if it was Division II, Division III. You have to let me know in the comments. But it just goes to show you with the transfer portal, I mean, just how fast you can turn a team around from being, the bottom of the barrel to, being at least 15-0 and playing for a national title next Monday. It's a new ball game, ladies and gentlemen. With the NIL and the transfer portal, it's a whole new ball game. I don't think we're not going to see another dynasty like we saw, what should have been with Georgia, but they got a couple, the runs that Bama had with their dominance. Clemson, it was Clemson and Bama for 4 years in a row. I don't think we're going to see that no more. So that was one thing that people talked about for a long time was, it's always the same schools with, the same with the most money. And I get it, people get tired of it. Just like, if Indiana gets, Indiana's got past this, but if they get past Miami, Indiana wins a title. That's going to be 3 years in a row now that the Big Ten's won. Of course, the OC for Oregon, he's going to Kentucky. So welcome to the SEC, sir. This is your last game. Oregon is trying to get something before halftime. But back to what I was saying with the transfer portal and the wild, wild west that we live in, where, there are no rules. There is no law when it comes to tampering, the transfer portal, the money. And at some point, there has to be some rules and regulations. There has to be. We see Tech spending absurd amounts of money. Oregon is a big spender. And then I don't know if y'all saw it, but of course, Mark Cuban, the owner of the Dallas Mavericks, he went to Indiana and he came out and just said that he's fixing to donate millions of dollars to this Indiana program. So Indiana's not going nowhere. But I am glad to see, as just a fan of the SEC in Oklahoma, I'm glad to see the Big Ten because the Big Ten is so top heavy. But, with the addition of Oregon, they're always going to be at the top. Of course, you have Ohio State, Michigan. That's just a crap show in itself. And, of course, now you have Indiana. Penn State's in rebuild mode. We'll see what they do getting Matt Campbell from Iowa State, which I thought was a great hire. Is it enough? Short. Man, y'all, how many of y'all had 35-7 at half and Indiana gets the ball to start the second half? Nightmare first half for the Ducks. This game is over. If you're on here and you're an Indiana fan or a Big Ten fan, congrats. It's going to be an Indiana-Miami national title game. Who had that on the bingo card? Nobody. Don't think very many had Miami in the national title game other than the Hurricane fan base. But talking to Kurt Sagnetta here from Indiana, phenomenal first half. You couldn't ask for more. Defense is playing lights out. Offense is doing whatever they want, passing, running, and Oregon just can't get out of their own way. So as a college football fan, I just did not want to see a blowout, but that's exactly what we're getting. So it's going to be a boring second half. But I'm going to get off of here, do a quick video, give it my thoughts real quick, and I will be back and I will see y'all for the second half. All right, y'all. Welcome back to the second half. This might be a boring, long second half as Indiana is up 35-7. Oregon can't get out of their own way. Three massive turnovers to give Indiana 21 points, and Indiana gets the ball to start the second half. So this game is well in hand. This game is over. Indiana is headed to the national title game to face the Miami Hurricanes in their backyard. They're in Miami. So is it going to be Miami's first national title in 20 plus years? Or is Indiana and their dream season going to be completed with their first national title in program history? Just an incredible first half. Mendoza's still out there. If they go down and score in this first drive, I think we'll probably see, flags on Indiana. Just finishing up a video real quick, but one of the few mistakes that we've seen here by Indiana. Kurt Signetti not happy with that. But I feel like if Indiana goes down the field right here, they score, then we'll see the backups. A lot like what we saw against Alabama. Keep the starters, keep the starters in right here for one more drive. Because obviously for Indiana, you don't want to get any injuries or anything crazy happen to any of your starters. With the national title on the line next week. Second and 13, big pass play by Indiana. Kind of the same old as from the first half. Just finishing up. Video real quick, y'all. Yeah, big play by Indiana right there. They're just continue to do whatever they want. Oregon fans thinking about how much money they wasted to fly across the country to see your team get blown out. And it's probably going to get worse. Mendoza back looking to throw on 2nd and 9. Another great pass. Another great catch. As Indiana's moving down the field to put up their 6th touchdown of the night. And we've just started the second half in the third quarter. Incredible. Another big play by Indiana. I mean, they're just going right down the field doing whatever they please. Oregon has no answers for anything. It's going to be 3rd and about 6. Oregon trying to find a way, showing a little bit alive, trying to get a stop here. Nowhere to throw. Mendoza just runs the ball again. And that's one thing that Miami's going to, it's your night for Indiana when your quarterback actually makes a mistake and the ball bounces right to one of your linemen. That's when you know you're just destined to get to the national title game. Everything is bouncing your way. Even when you have a mistake, it still goes your way. That's when you know it's your night. Indiana's had this ball now for going on 6 minutes. Using up clock, trying to get this game over with as soon as possible. It's going to be another 3rd down, but they're going right down the field, looking to go up 42-7, y'all. 42-7. Insane. Change the ticker real quick. Did not think we would see a blowout at halftime. And looks like we're going to see a repeat of the Bama game. Even when Indiana makes a mistake, they still get the bounces. That's when you know it's your night, no matter what you do. Another touchdown play. Indiana can do no wrong on offense. 42-7, y'all. 42-7. Midway through the 3rd quarter. Oregon fans just in shock. Nobody saw this coming. Nobody. Not even these Indiana fans. Although I'm going to hear different. We're all going to hear different how they saw this coming a mile away. They're not surprised at all. Even the Indiana fans are looking bored. So for y'all that are in here, next week, what do you see with the Miami game? For sure, Miami is going to have to play a clean, mistake-free game and hope to get some turnovers. And the ball is going to have to bounce their way. It's going to be a long second half, y'all. Long second half. Didn't think we'd see a blowout like this. But the ball is just bouncing every way. Indiana is just getting everything their way. Even when their quarterback Mendoza fumbles the ball, just when you think Oregon did something right on defense and Indiana makes their first mistake, nope. Ball bounces right to the Oregon O-line, the offensive lineman. So 42-7, I would expect that we're going to see the backups. There's no reason to keep the starters in. You don't want to get anybody injured, obviously, with the national title game here in 10 days. So we should see the backups. I would think we're going to see Indiana just run the ball a lot, use up all the clock, just get out of here with no injuries and move on to the national title game. For Oregon, hey, great season. You had a good little run here, but what an embarrassing way to see your season end if you're Oregon. Everybody thought this was going to be a good game. The first matchup in the season, it was 20-20 going in, they're in the fourth quarter up there in Eugene. Indiana pulled away, but it was a game going in the fourth quarter. Here, this game was over with in the second quarter. Just mistake after mistake after mistake for Oregon, giving Indiana basically 21 points. Indiana did not need the help, y'all. They did not need the help. So here we are, halfway through the third quarter. It's 42-7 Indiana. Should see all the backups. For Oregon, hey, if you're Dante Moore, you're going to be a first-round draft pick, a top 10 draft pick. This is not the showing you wanted, obviously, to show the NFL, but hey, every player has bad games, right? It happens to everyone, even the best, even the Hall of Famers. But, if you're Dan Lanning, last year you were the 1 seed. You came into the playoffs undefeated, get taken out by Ohio State. This year you have just a 1 loss to this Indiana team. You see yourself with the 5 seed. You basically get a bye as you play James Madison in the first quarter or in the first round. You beat a good Tech team. But this, if you're Dan Lanning, man, what an embarrassing way to see your season end. Not just getting beat, but you're getting embarrassed. You just cannot get out of your own way. Penalties, turnovers. From the first play of the game, we saw a pick 6 for Indiana. That right there just told you that, that was just foreshadowing. This is not going to be a good night at all for Oregon. Indiana could be a team of destiny, y'all. Could be. They could be a team of destiny right here. The ball bouncing their way, everything going right. Hey, big run by here by Oregon. Oh, there you go. Can they score? Can he get the blocks? Oh, it's going to be close. Big play. Don't know where this has been all night long for Oregon. But, hey, if you're here, if you can score, see if the defense has any kind of life. Now, if Indiana brings in backups, we might see this score get within maybe 3 touchdown, maybe even a 2 touchdown game. So this final score is not going to be, it's not going to tell the whole story at all. Not at all. Can Oregon score? Could be a flag on Indiana. Absolutely, sir. Do not look shocked. At this point, if you're Oregon, you're going to take anything you can, any kind of help you can get. The defender didn't turn his head. Easy pass interference play. Pretty clean game, though. Only 5 flags thrown the whole game. Not bad. See if Oregon can't push it in here for a touchdown. To the goal line. Touchdown, Oregon. It's going to make it 42-13. I still don't think, even with the score, I still don't think we're going to see Oregon going for 2. They got to get as many points as possible at this point, but I don't see Indiana bringing in their starters. There's no reason. See what your backups can do. Can the backups move the ball on this Oregon defense, who hasn't been able to stop a nosebleed? So let me change the score real quick on the bottom, on the ticker. Throws. Good catch. Good throw. Great catch for 2 points. Oregon's still down, though. 42-15, getting blown out. Long way to go. I mean, I guess anything's possible, but the way Indiana's playing on offense, I feel like we're just trying to go through the motions here and just get this game over with. Man, I would have loved to have heard the conversation at halftime in that locker room for Oregon. What all did Dan Lanning have to say to his players? I mean, but hey, if you're Oregon and if you're that offense as bad as you played in the first half with all the mistakes you had, giving Indiana 21 points, you got to be happy with that. You went right down the field. You had a big play. That's what you needed to give you some kind of life, with just a little bit of a chance to get back in this game. Incredible. Y'all let me know in the comments where are you guys from? Who's your favorite team? And looking like we're going to have a Indiana-Miami national title game. Who do y'all have in that game? Is Indiana going to be able to be the first team to go 16-0 and have a dream season and win their first national title in program history? Or are we going to see the Miami Hurricanes at their home field play for a national title and get their first championship in over 20 plus years? Y'all let me know in the comments. All right. Got the ticker updated, 42-15. This reminds me a lot of the Bama OU game in 2018. Bama was up 28-0 really, really quick. Bama let off the gas, put in their backups, and the final score, I believe, was like 45-31. So if you didn't watch the game, you'd be like, oh, not a bad game. No, that score didn't tell the whole story. So I feel like that's what we're going to see here in this game. A lot of the same characteristics from that game to this game. Game was over in the second quarter. Is Indiana going to let off the gas a little bit, knowing that Oregon has to make a miraculous comeback? They're going to have to get some turnovers, some pick sixes, fumbles, something. Because I would think Indiana, we'll see if they have their starters still in. I don't think they will. But can these backups come in for Indiana? Can they move the ball? But the main thing for these backups, just move the ball, use up some clock. And just try to get out of here as healthy as possible. See what Indiana does here. Did they bring up Mendoza and the starters, or going to give the backup some valuable experience? Next Monday night in Miami, national title game. The Hurricanes waiting the winner of this. It's going to be Indiana. Next Monday night at 6:30 here on ESPN. So the starter's still in. And look, here we go. Another big. Uh-oh. Got a flag. Is it going to come back, though? Yeah. It looks like that running back knows. Yeah. It was that hold that allowed that big run. Definitely frustrating for that running back. Got an Oregon player down. That all lineman for Indiana trying to figure out, ask the ref, what did I do? Where's the hold? Oh, yeah. Yeah, he knows it. He knows it. He tried to get away with one. One of the few mistakes that Indiana's made tonight. Bring back what would have been a 50, 60-yard run. Indiana looking to use up all the clock that they possibly can. That's their main goal. Use up all the clock. Just get out of here. Healthy. Some kind of issue here with the clock. So what would have been first and goal for Indiana, or in the red zone, it's now first and 20, all the way back to their 10. So what looked like was going to be a quick strike for this Indiana offense, all the way back to their 10-yard line with that holding penalty. So really the first big mistake we've seen from Indiana that really cost them. It's not going to cost them the game, but just now under 7 minutes to go in the third quarter, Indiana up 42-15, looking just to use up clock and get out of here. With that Oregon score, the starter stayed in for Indiana. Big pass and catch for about 15 yards. So this will be third and short, making it manageable. I mean, if you're Oregon right here, you have to get a stop and then have another quick score. That would, if you can somehow get the 2-point conversion, that'd make it 42-23. But Oregon knows with that big penalty, they got to get a stop right here. If they have any chance at all, they got to get the stop right here. Helmet comes off, another big play. Indiana has done this all night long. Whatever the third down might be, they get just enough to get the first down. Elijah Sarrett, what a night for you, sir. 6 catches, 72 yards. Great night for that Indiana receiver. 6 minutes to go in the third quarter. Indiana's looking here to use up clock. Maybe put up some more points on the board. Out to about the 40-yard line. Handoff to the running back. Gets a couple. I would assume that we're going to see all the backups here on the next Indiana offensive possession. Good run, big hit. Indiana able to get about 4 yards on that run, but what a hit by that Oregon defender right there. Going to be third and short again, but Indiana has done this all night long. Third and short, they get just enough with a couple extra. Keep moving the chains, keep moving that clock. Mendoza back looking to throw into coverage. Really the first bad throw we've seen from Mendoza. It's going to be fourth down, so Oregon got to stop. Oregon found a way to get a stop. So we're going to see the Indiana punter, who's definitely had a quiet night, out to try to pin Oregon deep in their own territory. I mean, Indiana's night, man. Every phase, all three phases of the game, excellent. Oregon now having to go 95 yards to get another touchdown. Everything going right in every possible way for the Indiana Hoosiers. Must have a lot of bills to pay. So many commercials. Hopefully, we see the fourth quarter. Indiana just running the ball, use up all the clock. But, I mean, Oregon got the ball back here. Now, they have a long way to go on this drive. They got to go about 95 yards. But if you're Oregon, you got to have another quick strike, big play touchdown. You know, to get it within 3 scores at that point, to make it look somewhat respectable. But I feel like even if Oregon scores right here, I feel like they're going to take the starters out for Indiana because you don't want to risk anything. And right now, I mean, everything's going right for you. So why would you want to risk a possible injury to Mendoza or any other starter who you're going to need for next Monday night against the Miami Hurricanes there in the Orange Bowl for the national title? It's just not worth it. All right, here we go. 4:10 to go in the third quarter. First and 10, Oregon at their own 5. If you're Oregon, obviously the clock is not your friend. You got to have a big play, try to score as quick as you can. Don't have time here to just use up clock. You got to go quick. Can Oregon get some kind of big strike play? Oregon seems to be in no hurry. I don't get it. I don't understand it. It makes no sense to me why they're not playing hurry up. Try to get this Indiana defense off their game a little bit. But Oregon's not in no hurry. Hand it off to the running back. No gain. I don't understand this play calling at all for Oregon. You don't have time to run the ball like this. Got a flag on the play. Face mask on Oregon. Again, Oregon just Indiana can do no wrong, and Oregon can't do anything right. Just how it goes in college football sometimes. Oregon on their own 4 on 3rd and long. Hoping for some miracle on this play. Here comes the pressure for Indiana. He's going deep. Did he catch that? What a catch by Oregon. That's exactly what you need. That's exactly what you need if you're Oregon out there. What a throw. What an even better catch by that receiver. Great defense by the Indiana defender. I mean, he was there. Wow, what a catch. That's the ESPN top 10 catch right there. That's a heck of a catch by that Oregon receiver. So if you're the Ducks, you found a way to get a big play. Got an Indiana player down, back in the end zone. So if you're Oregon, got to have another quick strike. And hope that your defense can keep playing better than they did in the first half and get a stop. More commercials. Well, y'all let me know your thoughts in the comments. This is definitely not the game I thought we were going to see. Not at all. Another blowout win for this Indiana team. I mean, capitalize on your opponent's mistakes. Play mistake-free football. I mean, that is the success. That is the recipe to get you a national title. So Miami, they definitely have their hands full. You know, they're watching this, seeing all the mistakes from Oregon. Miami is going to have to play Carson Beck. Can't have no turnovers. Their defense, great defense. Now, their depth is a little questionable. But the defense from Miami, they're going to have to step up, play even better than what they did last night. And if you're the Carson Beck in the offense for the Hurricanes, you can't have no mistakes, y'all. No mistakes. Can't have it. I mean, you look at the yards, 286 to 239. Rushing's within 20 yards of each other. It's not bad. It's the turnovers. If there were no turnovers, I mean, it'd be a really good game. But, I mean, turnovers can just kill a team so quickly. Here we are, Oregon at about midfield, down 42-15. 2.5 to go in the third quarter. Pass to the outside. Good run after the catch. Gets another first down to about the 40. Oregon has to go quick. They got to move quick. You don't have time. They definitely got to score before we get to the fourth quarter. Dante Moore got pressure, had to stow it away. I mean, if you're Oregon again, back to the drawing board. Great regular season, and you just come into a buzzsaw. Last year, Ohio State. This year, Indiana. I mean, go out and spend. They got to get another quarterback. So we'll see Oregon just go out to the transfer portal, try to reload, spend lots of money, try to get back here next year. 2nd and 10, they go with a run. A little shocking right there. We don't have time for that. I get you got to try to keep it balanced and keep the defense honest, but you ain't got time for that. 3rd and 9 for the Ducks. Obviously, we're in 4-down territory, no matter what here. Can the Ducks keep this drive going? Snap back, another handoff. Feel like right there Indiana was expecting the pass. It didn't happen. Good play call. So on 3rd and long, looks like Oregon gets it with a run. Indiana was definitely expecting a pass right there for sure. Handoff again on 4th and 1. I don't get it. I don't like that play call at all. Dumb. So if Oregon had any chance at all, which was slim to none, it just ended right there. I mean, that's a play call with 4th and 1. Your season's on the line, and that's what you come up with. Horrible. By the way, for the Kentucky Wildcats that might be in here, that OC is your new head coach for next year. What a bonehead call by him on that play. Indiana gets it back up 42-15. 37 seconds to go in the game. Look for Indiana just to hand it off. Waste clock, get out of here. Starters are still in. That's going to be the last play of the third quarter. So as we go to the fourth quarter, Indiana up 42-15. How long are the starters going to stay? Or will we see the starters come out and bring in the backups to go into the last quarter? Domination again by the Indiana Hoosiers. Let me change the ticker at the bottom real quick. So as we go to the fourth quarter, y'all let me know in the comments, what are your thoughts on this game? Is it what you expected? What do you see happening next week when it's the national title game and we have Miami playing this Indiana team that just seems to play flawless football? They do not make mistakes. So that's the question going into the national title game. We know that Indiana's going to come in. They're going to play clean football and not make very many mistakes. Hardly any penalties, let alone turnovers. Can Miami do the same? Carson Beck, you are going to have to play a clean game. Receivers are going to have to make great catches. The defense for Miami, you got to be ready to play. Starters, get rested up. Now, the biggest thing if you're Miami is that you're playing at home. So, I mean, like in this game here, down in Atlanta, if you didn't know any better, you would think that it was an Indiana home game. Hardly any Oregon fans. I get it, you're coming across country. And that's a heck of an ask. That's expensive to go down there to see your team get blown out like this. But I would expect, obviously, Indiana's going to travel well. But at worst, it should be like a 50-50 split, I would imagine. So we'll see what happens with this. But I was really excited about this game. Didn't think we were going to have a blowout like this. Nobody saw this. Not the way it started. First half, to know that you're up 35-7, that's just insane. Nobody saw that. Now, you may have seen this score maybe even then. If I would have told you that the final score is 42-15, but didn't tell you how they got to that, you may say, okay, Indiana won, but man, how they got to that score with all the turnovers. Oregon just cannot get out of their own way. Mistake after mistake after mistake. This last drive right here, what a horrible play call on 4th and 1. I don't understand. So the Oregon Ducks got to get back to the drawing board for next year. So next Monday night on the 19th of January at 6:30, it'll be the Miami Hurricanes, the 10 seed, the last team to get into the playoffs, find themselves in the national title and playing on their home field. So is it going to be Indiana Hoosiers? Are they going to continue their dream season, be the first team to go 16-0 and win a title? Or are we going to see Miami get their first title in over 20 plus years? So to go from being the laughingstock, coming from the ACC, the whole talk was going into championship weekend with the conferences, was the ACC going to get left out? So they've gone from that to, hey, you got your team, the best team out of the ACC is in the national title game. So what a turnaround for the ACC conference. Indiana looking to be aggressive there on 3rd and 5. Incomplete pass. Indiana looking for a pass interference. Fans aren't happy, but it's going to be 4th and 5. Somehow Oregon was able to get a stop here, but if you're the offense for the Ducks, you've got to find a way to get a quick strike. They're going to catch it at about the 20, get about 8, maybe 9 yards on the return. Got a flag. We got a late hit. What do we got? So we had a pretty clean game penalty-wise. Not a whole lot of flags at all, but a little sloppy here the last 5 minutes of game time. Another penalty by Oregon. They just, man, turnovers have racked up. Penalties have racked up. Just a sloppy game by the Oregon Ducks tonight at the worst time. So if you're Oregon here, we got 12, 13 minutes to go in the game. Got to have a quick strike. I mean, we got to be aggressive. We got to throw down the field. Can't have any of this run crap. Can't afford to. We don't have the time for it. So y'all let me know in the comments. What do y'all think about all this? What do you think about next week, the national title game? Who do y'all have in that game? I'm going to be rooting for the Hurricanes to get the win there in Miami. But if Indiana plays like this with a few penalties, but no turnovers and just control, the clock, if they play like that, and if Miami doesn't play as well as what Indiana is, I mean, it could be another blow in the national title game. Miami is going to have to play mistake-free turnover or mistake-free, no turnover. Offense has to be clicking. Carson Beck has to be making great throws. Receivers got to make great catches to have a real shot against this Indiana team next Monday night. If not, if Miami plays even remotely like Oregon is tonight, it's going to be just another repeat. And man, what an impressive season that would be for Indiana. You're the 1 seed, so you get that first round bye. But then you get a blowout win against Alabama. You get a blowout win against Oregon, and then you would have another blowout win against Miami. So you got a blowout win against the SEC, your own conference in the Big Ten, and then the ACC. What a heck of a way to wrap up a dream season, to be the first team to go 16-0, and for the Hoosiers to get their first national title in program history. And the turnaround. 3 years ago, they were the laughingstock and at the bottom of the barrel of the Big Ten. To go from that to undefeated, setting all kinds of records, your quarterback winning the Heisman, to have this kind of turnaround in 3 years is just incredible by Indiana and Kurt Signetti. Incredible. All right, back to the game. Here we go. Oregon trying to do something, find anything. 1st and 10, 14 minutes to go in the game. Short pass for nothing. I don't understand why Oregon's not being aggressive. Why are we not going downfield? We don't have time for this short pass game. I don't understand what they're doing. Do they not realize that they're down 27 points? Again, a short pass. I don't know what we're doing. I don't understand. Oregon's play calling. Don't get it at all. They're down 27 points with 13 minutes to go in the game, and we're doing this little short pass. They're in no hurry. Should have been another pick right there. 4th and 6 for the Oregon Ducks. I mean, if you get a stop right here, I mean, I don't think they will, but man, if you're Indiana, you could pretty much just take a knee and use up the clock. See what Oregon does right here. Yeah, okay, so they've thrown in the white flag. They're just going to punt the ball. I don't understand what Oregon was doing right there at all on that last drive. It makes 0 sense. Another flag. Delay a game. So Oregon has waved the white flag. I would assume now we're going to see Indiana put in their backups, and just use up clock. Get this fourth quarter over with as soon as possible. Another mistake. I mean, incredible. 3 turnovers by the Oregon offense. Now Indiana blocks a punt. Again, Indiana can do no wrong. Oregon can't do anything right. Insanity. Complete dominance in every fashion. Everything that could go wrong is going wrong for Oregon. And Indiana, I mean, the only thing left to do, I guess, would be the kickoff return. That's about it. Just incredible. Starters are still in. Wow. Run up the middle. Kind of surprised by that, y'all. See Danny leaving the starters in. Hey, Paul, good to see you in here, sir. Yeah, man. But, Paul, I don't understand why they have the starters still in. Like, why would you risk injury? But, yeah. Yeah, bro, this game sucks. This is not what I expected at all. So, Paul, what do you think? What do you think about next week's game? What's your early score prediction? Yeah, Miami is going to play just as well as Indiana. Like Miami can't have no mistakes, no turnovers. Carson Beck and that offense has to play the game of their life. Now, Miami does have a great defense, but they're going to play one of their best games too because this offense for Indiana, I mean, they just do in the playoffs so far. They're just doing whatever they want to do, man. Incredible, incredible. It's been a long second half. Just want to see this game get over with. I'm going to be rooting for Miami to win, but like when it comes to a score, I have no idea. I have no idea what to think at this point. So I just kind of want to I want to see how this goes between now and the 19th. I mean, the biggest advantage that we're going to see is Miami getting to play at home. That's going to be the biggest thing. The fans got to show up because obviously we've seen Indiana travel. I mean, if you didn't know any better, you would think that this was the Indiana home game. Just to see a red there in Atlanta at the Peach Bowl. Dan Lanning outscored 91-18 in 2 games there at Atlanta. Ouch. Third and goal for Indiana. Mendoza, see what they can do here. Can they just punch it in? Mendoza looking to throw. Another touchdown. What a night for Indiana, man. What a night. Incredible. Change the ticker at the bottom real quick. $49-15. Crazy. All right, got that fixed. Yeah, I knew he was pretty close. Oh, yeah, got the foot down. Yeah, so I'm really curious to see how is Indiana's offseason going to look? What kind of team are they going to bring back for the 26th season? I don't know if y'all heard, but Mark Cuban, of course, he went to Indiana, the owner for the Dallas Mavericks there in the NBA. He came out and said that he's fixing to give millions of dollars to this Indiana football program. So, with that added addition of funds, think about what all they could do in the portal, recruiting. So, how aggressive are they going to be? So, I'm really, really curious to see a lot of this Indiana team now. They came from James Madison whenever Kurt Signetti made the move to Indiana, and these are all fourth, fifth year seniors, so they're an older team. Um, so they're going to lose a ton of experience for next year. So I'm really curious to see if they can finish this season off with a title. What are they going to look like next year? Will it be a down year? Will it be kind of a rebuild? What's it going to look like? Oregon is out here throwing short passes, not trying anything. I mean, they might as well just take a knee. It's all the same. Pressure by Indiana, more able to get it away, able to get a first down. Yeah, I don't know where these plays were the last drive. I don't know what Oregon is doing offensively. Like, why are we not going downfield trying to throw the ball? I don't understand. Still have 10 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Incomplete pass. Man, Paul, it could be. Could be. I hope not. Man, I just want to see a good game. Regardless of who wins, I just want to see a good game. Give me a game kind of like last night with Ole Miss and Miami. Not another one of these. I just hope we get a four-quarter game. I mean, this is just hard to watch. I mean, can we just get a running clock? You know what I mean? At this point, pressure by Indiana Moore just has to throw it away. All right, here we go. Oregon trying to get some more points on the board, make it a little bit more respectable. On the Indiana 41. Moore back looking to throw. Short pass for about 5 yards. He looked deep. Nobody was open. Third and 4 for the Ducks. Under 9 minutes to go now in the game. Just a sea of red there in Atlanta. Man, if I would have said, hey, Indiana is going to pretty much dominate their way to the national title game a couple of years ago, you would have thought I was some insane person. What a turnaround for Indiana. Crazy, crazy impressive. From the bottom of the barrel of the Big Ten to a chance to have in one season your quarterback win the Heisman, be the first team to go 16-0 and get a national title, the first one ever in program history. It's been a dream season for this Indiana team for sure. They weren't the favorites coming in to the season. It was going to be a prove-it year for them. They had a very, very, very weak. They played nobody in the non-con, so nobody really knew what they were until that Oregon game. That woke everybody up to say, "Oh, you know, this Indiana team, they're for real." But you know, just the Big Ten schedule. You know, other than the Oregon game, they played absolutely nobody. Had that scare against Penn State, but that's one thing I will give credit to the Big Ten is they do a really good job of protecting their top tier teams because it is very, very top heavy, but they protect their top tier teams from having to play each other so much. Where the SEC, they're going to beat up each other. Oh yeah, yeah. Arizona State, I felt like got robbed against Texas. Yeah, Notre Dame, Penn State, that was a great game. James Franklin, man, Paul, I'm kind of curious to see how he's going to be there at Virginia Tech. What's that going to look like? What a home run hire for Virginia Tech. Yeah, both Ole Miss Georgia games, or the Ole Miss Georgia game. Well, both of those games, those were incredible classics. And then last night, just another classic. I mean, man, down to the last drive. A lot of questions about was it pass interference? Was it not? I thought it was. A lot of people thought it was, but man, a lot of debate today about that. Should pass interference have been called? I don't know. I thought so, but the refs didn't call it. So, but yeah, I was hoping that we would get a game tonight, like last night's game. Obviously, not the case. I mean, this game was over the second quarter because Oregon couldn't get out of their own way or do anything right with all the turnovers. And Indiana I mean, they can't do anything wrong at all. Everything just bouncing their way. So I really hope next Monday night that we have just a 4-quarter game. Can we just get a game into the fourth quarter? I do too. I think he turns Virginia Tech around. I'm really, really excited to see what they do next year. Get a big bump in recruiting. I don't know the number, but how many people followed him from Penn State to Virginia Tech? Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. Like, man, if you're Oregon, last year coming in as the 1 seed, undefeated, and then you come into the buzzsaw that was Ohio State, who went on to win a national title. And then again this year, you have the 1 loss, but you come in as a 5. But man, you run into a buzzsaw with Indiana. So how does Oregon, like, what kind of offseason are they going to have? Because they're going to have to reload. Both teams got to get a new quarterback. I know Indiana, they got the quarterback, the transfer from TCU. I don't know much about him, but we'll see what he's about. And this Indiana team, they're senior led because majority of this team came from James Madison. So they all came together from James Madison here to Indiana. So Indiana's going to have to replace a lot of people. So I'm really curious to see, are they going to be able to reload or are they going to have a down year after what seems to be like a dream season here in the 25 season? Indiana, yeah, another big run, stay in bounce, keep the clock running. Yeah, I thought when they fired Franklin, I thought it was really early. And then I kept wondering what was taking so long. I mean, we saw so much turnover, like especially even like in the SEC with coaches being fired and let go. And obviously they wanted Lane Kiffin. Wasn't going to happen. Um, Getting Matt Campbell from Iowa State, I think it's a good hire. I think it could be one of those hires that it wasn't the sexy pick. It wasn't the sexy hire. But coming from the Big 12 with Oklahoma, a couple years ago, and playing Iowa State, Matt Campbell, he's a great coach, Paul. Um, so I think he could build Penn State back into I don't think it'll be to the level of Ohio State or something like this, but I think he can make Penn State respectable. I mean, that's what he did in the Big 12. They were never really a big threat, but they were always up there at the top of the conference. So, man, Paul, they got to change this. The group of 5 needs to have their own damn playoff system. Yeah. There is no World War II lane, and James Madison should have got in. Agreed. Should have had Notre Dame in and then BYU. How that would have played out, we're never going to know. but it would have been better than blowouts we saw with Tulane and James Madison. So I wonder what changed. Indiana scores again. Golly. Man, domination, Paul. Domination by Indiana. What the hell? 55-15. But I'm really surprised that Mendoza is still playing. I mean, did Oregon say something? Did Dan Lanning say something to Kurt Signetti that just pissed him off? That now he's just trying to run up the score. I really don't understand why the starters were still in like this for Indiana, but yeah, third straight of the year. So, the SEC dominated and won how many years in a row? And then, of course, we had Michigan and Ohio State, and now it looks like Indiana has a real shot to win. But man, Paul, I was saying earlier, with NIL and the transfer portal, like the domination that Bama had, that Georgia had, the years when Clemson was really dominant there in the late teens. I just don't think we're going to see that no more. With the new rules, the wild, wild west that is the NIL and transfer portal, there's no rules. So, you can tamper, you can spend ridiculous money to get whoever you want. And at this point, I mean, let's face it, college football is nothing but the minor leagues of the NFL. It's not college football no more, which is a shame. I hate to see that, but it's the world that we live in, so the only big thing that I like from it is that it's made the playing field a lot better. We're going to see new teams like Indiana, Miami, come back to relevance again. But yeah, when I made that video after the Bama game, last week, the Indiana fans just told me how I was naive, I was a moron. I'm an SEC homer just living in the past. The dominance for the SEC is over. This is time for it's time for the Big Ten. How did we not see this coming? Everybody, of course, every Indiana fan told me how they saw that blowout coming to Bama, and I'm sure they're going to tell me in the comments here on this that we saw this coming. No, they didn't. It's easy to say after the fact, but now they've earned the right to talk crap, right? That's part of being a fan. We all like to talk crap about our team, our conference. It's all good at the end of the day, It's part of being a fan of college football. Yeah, that too. The meaningless bowl game has got to go. They got to go away. Nobody cares. The only thing that I think good comes from it is, guys that are trying to get to the league, trying to get to the NFL. Just it gives them another opportunity to show the scouts what they have. But other than that scenario, there's no point. Nobody cares. Stadiums are empty. It's just not like it used to be. Yeah, when do they? I thought the deadline already passed on that for them to go to 16. Or am I mistaken on that? On expanding the playoffs? I hope they do. Change that and then change the damn group of 5 teams get in. Now, if it's like, what was that? 20? Was it 21? 2022? The year that Cincinnati was really, really good and played a decent schedule. Now, if a group of 5 team earns their way in, like what Cincinnati did with the just 4 teams getting in, sure, I have no problem with them getting in if they're one of the top 16. But yeah, this crap that happened this year, it can't happen again. They got to make changes, and hopefully they do. Come on, Paul. Why you gotta rub it in, man? Why you gotta rub that in, Paul? Come on now. I thought we were friends here. Well aware, man. 0-5. Well aware. The only team to be 0-5, and the only team to blow two 17-point leads. Not something that we want to be known for here in Sooner Nation. Well, Paul, what do you think about Tennessee's offseason so far? You like some of the players you brought in? What are your thoughts? I really haven't paid much attention other than, what Oklahoma's up to and what they're doing. Really excited about the Jason Witten hire. The tight ends coach for Oklahoma, Joe John Finley, was such a waste. He was just stealing OU's money at this point. Couldn't really recruit, couldn't develop at all. Even if Jason Witten ends up being a lot like DeMarco Murray, because I don't know if you're aware, but with Oklahoma, the fan base, they want DeMarco gone too. He can recruit like nobody, and that's great. Like, he can recruit all the top talent. They don't develop, and if you go look at everybody that's hit the transfer portal, all the good running backs have left. We just had Taylor Tatum, the number one running back from a couple years ago. He's now going to Michigan. So other than Eric Gray, who came from your Tennessee Volunteers in 2020, had a great 21 year. Other than developing him, DeMarco hasn't done anything. So I can't stand Bama either, man. I think that was one of the first things I said before the playoffs started was, man, if OU doesn't beat Bama, can anybody win? Just anybody but Bama. But I don't think anybody expected Miami to be in the national title game. Other than the Hurricane fan base, they're on a pretty good run here. It's pretty cool that they get to play for a national title at their home field. They're in Miami, so I think that's pretty cool. That's going to be the biggest advantage they have against this Indiana team. Yeah, man, Paul, the SEC overall, a lot of change, a lot of coaching changes. Of course, the OC here for Oregon going to Kentucky. And I don't know if you're aware, but I'm married to my wife's from Kentucky, so my house is divided Oklahoma, Kentucky. So I get to live with that with, of course, UK and basketball. And for the first time, if ever, I think next year, Kentucky comes to Norman for football. So I'm going to try to get down to go to that game. Right? Right? Isn't that wild? Yeah, unbelievable. Yeah, that game in Tennessee. I mean, I know I said before the game I didn't pick OU to win. I just didn't see it. Mateer wasn't healthy. He played against Texas. He shouldn't have. Got beat there. Got the win at South Carolina. Blew the game against Ole Miss. And then I'm like, man, now we got to go to Tennessee. We got to go to Bama. I just didn't see us doing what we did in November. But pretty incredible what BV did there in November for Oklahoma. But, yeah, just to see the way it ended at home, up 17-0. I mean, just doing whatever you wanted offensively. Defense looked great, and then just to fall apart, just, I don't know, very, very frustrating. I know I heard today that Sam Bradford, of course, he played at OU, went to play for the Rams, won the Heisman. Stories are that he's there with John Mateer and Norman working on his mechanics because John Mateer has a horrible throwing. He throws sidearm, and that's just a mess. So hopefully Sam Bradford over the offseason can get Mateer to being a better quarterback. Yeah. I think it's funny when I hear that. Yeah, between Tennessee and Texas, we're the real UT. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. But man, Texas is in trouble. I mean, everybody's leaving. A lot of rumors about Sarkisian going to multiple NFL teams. I've heard Atlanta. I've heard Tennessee. So, yeah, Texas is going to go from being the preseason #1 to a complete mess. Everybody transferring out. You have Arch Manning there, but okay. To me, he's been a bust. Do y'all play Texas next year? I'm gonna have to take a good look at the SEC schedule because I don't remember who plays who. Oh, are you gonna go to that game? Damn, that'd be a great game to go to, Paul. I hope you're able to find a way to get to that game, man. That's one thing I would like to do. I went to the OU game a long time ago. I want to say it was a 2014 game. Uh, Tennessee came to town. That's whenever y'all had Butch Jones. So I've seen Tennessee play in person, but I would love to go out to Knoxville one day to Neyland. I heard that's one of the best crowds and atmospheres ever. I mean, just in the whole country. So that's one thing. That's one stadium I would definitely like to go to for sure at some point. Hey, Paul, who were your permanent opponents? Of course, Oklahoma got Texas, we got Missouri, and then surprisingly we have Ole Miss. Doesn't make much sense. Even Lane Kiffin, at the time was thought that was dumb. Yeah, yeah. The Baker game, the Baker Mayfield game. Yeah, that's what got the start going for Oklahoma. Led up to that 2017 season. Oklahoma looked incredible, but we couldn't stop a fifth grade football team. And then, like Bama, we let Georgia come back and get us in the Rose Bowl there in that 17 season. Because I would have loved that year to have seen the Oklahoma offense against that Bama defense of 17. Oh, I would have loved to have seen that matchup, but this wasn't meant to be. 34 seconds left here in the game. See if Oregon can put. Nope, of course not. Just nothing's going right for Oregon at all. What a horrible time to have your worst game of the season. It's not even close. Nothing went right for this Oregon team tonight. Nothing. I think Kentucky's going to be better, Paul. I mean, Bama, who knows? Bama's had a lot of receivers there too. Man, they've had a lot of turnovers, so we'll see what they do in the offseason. Vandy with Pavia having to leave. I mean, we'll see what Vandy does. Oregon getting a late touchdown, I guess, to make the score look a little bit better. So, yeah, that's another team in the SEC, Paul. Vandy, they just had their best season ever in program history, but what are they going to look like next year? Are they going to be able to reload? But that's another team. I mean, Vandy's been at the bottom forever in the SEC. So to see Vandy come out of nowhere, that's incredible. Yeah, whenever y'all came to Norman, I mean, our offense was better this year, but oh golly, our offense, what was that, 24? Horrible, horrible offense. Good defense, but offense was horrible. Yeah, that's kind of like Oklahoma State whenever we were rivals. Whenever we would play Bedlam, it was always a hated rivalry. Now we hate Texas more. Oklahoma State's a close second, but yeah, kind of the same scenario. Of course, both y'all being there in Tennessee. Yeah, Vandy, and then of course you got all the hate for Bama, just like everybody does. I mean, other than Bama, the fan base, I think that's the one team that everybody else hates the most is Bama, for sure. Some of that just due to there being tension for decades and decades in the SEC, but then of course just seeing how dominant and how successful they were with Saban, it just makes them easy to hate for sure. Yeah, so Gundy, um, yeah, so the deal with that, whenever we left to go to the SEC with Texas, Oklahoma State wanted to come. They were mad. We wanted to keep playing them, and then Gundy said no. He didn't want to do it, and then tried to say that we were the ones not wanting to keep the series going. But I forgot who the new coach is for Oklahoma State. Pretty sure he came from North Texas. He said that he would love to bring it back. So I hope that Oklahoma and BV that they're able to bring that back because I would love to see that in the non-con. Absolutely. Give me OU OSU every year. Absolutely. So, all right, y'all. Well, thank y'all for being here. If you're new here, make sure y'all like and subscribe. Paul, thanks again for all the conversation. I love getting to talk to you throughout the week, man. Just different videos and things. I'll be doing a live stream for the title game. Hopefully we have a better game than this. Man, bad game. Great game from Indiana, but man, it was hard to watch. But yeah, hope you can join. And for everybody else that's in here, thank y'all for being here. If you're a veteran that's been in here, glad to see you in here. I appreciate you. I have nothing but love and respect for all the militaries that's in here. And Paul, you have a good weekend too. So with that being said, I want to get off of here, and I will see y'all probably before. I'll do a couple of videos between now and then with news going on in college football. But I will be doing a live stream next Monday night, and hopefully we get a good game. So with that being said, y'all have a great weekend, and I will see y'all on the next one. Boomer.